Hey, what's up? Welcome back, peeps. Welcome to another episode of Direct Edition. The channel is Fred Hall Direct Edition. And in between hauls, I kind of like to chop up my videos a little different. I don't want to always bring you stuff that I've gotten out of the comic book shop. Sometimes I like to show you some different stuff to kind of get you in the mode of different type of collecting. We collect action figures, we collect, hardcovers, paperbacks, and we also collect, our favorite thing to collect, which is comic books. So before I go any further, let's get our sponsor in. And this episode of Direct Edition is brought to you by my fake Darth Maul from China. All right, let's get into it. So, like I said, today we're going to be looking at some of I don't want to say my favorite hardcovers, but just random hardcovers out of the dungeon. Maybe you guys, get inspired to start picking up some of the hardcovers, instead of picking up single issues, because you know how hard it is to plug in the holes and plug in the gaps. So the good thing about the hardcovers is you don't have that problem. Now, some of them are not as valuable as single comic books, but then sometimes you can strike gold with these hardcovers. So, okay, without further ado, let's get into it. Well, all right now. The first one I wanted to show you is Astonishing Spider-Man and Wolverine. This book is very, very good, man. A lot of people slept on it. I know I gave it the comic book window, and he said it was hard for him to get through it. But I really like this book, and if you are looking for an adventure with Spider-Man and Wolverine, then this is the one for you. Because I used to have the book with Spider-Man versus Wolverine, and something happened to that book. It was so long ago. I think it was like a paperback. So I had a purge, and I think I threw it out with the purge in my college years. But this book is very good. Spoilers for this book. One, two, three. Spider-Man and Wolverine don't know what's going on, and they keep hopping from universe to universe. You even have Wolverine have a Phoenix gun, which he shoots, and it's very cool. But what ends up happening is they actually end up being in Mojoverse, and it's real good, man. The villains are two black guys, which I think is hilarious. Hold on, let me let you see it. If you allow my sexy fingers to interrupt your video, these are the two villains. And it's very funny because, it's just real cool, man. You have to read it. So, yeah. So, the next book I want to show you is Uncanny X-Men and Steve Rogers' Super Soldier, Escape from the Negative Zone. Oh, man, this is a very good book, man. So, what ends up happening is the X-Men are working on this machine, and this machine actually ends up teleporting some of them into the negative zone. And so, some of the other X-Men go after the X-Men that's in the negative zone, and Namor is one of them. And if you know, in the negative zone, there's no water. So Namor went absolutely crazy. Not only did the X-Men have to fight, all the creatures or the demons in the negative zone, they also had to fight Namor. There's one part in this book that really sticks out. Hope Summers, she meets Captain America for the first time, and she says, "Yeah, I know I'm the mutant messiah," and blah blah blah. And Captain America stops her right there. He says, that's not what I wanted to talk to you about. I wanted to talk to you about being responsible and being humble. And like he checked her, just like I would think Captain America would do. So I love this book. So here's a cool look at the front. Let's take a look at the back. And here's a cool look at the back of the book, which is some weird drawings and stuff. Um, it's all right. But I really do like this book. It's one of my guilty pleasures. When I find myself like on a Saturday night, just kind of up by myself, I'll crack this book out, every maybe once a year, and I'll read it. And I've had this book for about maybe 2, 3 years now. So yeah, it's very cool. Okay, in the next book, and mind you, all my hardcovers they are under $10. Like I end up scoring them for like $10 and under. So I really tell you the truth, I end up buying most of my hardcovers just for $1, and I would just pay the shipping on Amazon because it gets to a point at some stores where they're just like, hey, I'll just sell it for $1. and then you end up getting it for like $6, $7. Especially a lot of my books come from overseas in the UK. Like I'll order from like this place called Books of London and Bargain Books, and it takes about 2 weeks for it to get to me. But hey, for $1, it's worth the wait. And I was saying that to say this is the book that everybody hates. This is Ultimatum. This is the death of the original Ultimate Universe. This is like Wolverine died in this movie, in this book. Cyclops got shot in the head. Who else died? Just so many people. I think Sabretooth killed Angel. Wolverine killed Sabretooth. But Sabretooth ended up surviving though. But he's all mauled up and looked crazy. But anyway, this is a very, very good book to me. The only part about the book that I didn't like is that they end up showing Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver having like a ancestral relationship, which I didn't like at all. But other besides that, the violence is there. David Finch drew the good part of it. So yeah, if you get a chance, if you haven't already, read Ultimatum. So here's a cool look at the front. Let's look at the back. And here's a cool look at the back. You have Hawkeye. You have Captain America. And like I said, Wolverine ended up being like Scarlet Witch's and Quicksilver's father. And it wasn't Magneto. And I was like, whatever. So yeah, if you just like some different type of stories, this is one to get. And since we're in the Ultimate Universe, we might as well get into this Ultimate X-Men. Spoiler alert for this book, Cable actually ended up being Wolverine from the future. And, at the end of Ultimatum, the only things left is Wolverine's arm. So I think that what ended up happening after Ultimatum, what they don't tell you is Wolverine totally regenerated. And you see the missing arm that Cable has. Well, that's the missing arm at the end of Ultimatum. So I love my Ultimate X-Men. Like I said, David Finch draws a lot of it. I think this cover is Michael Turner. Very beautiful cover. Man, like I got these single issues and like I could not stop picking them up, but I end up, running into, I guess, problems at my comic book shop where people was actually, getting to these before me. So I waited years and years and then I ended up getting this book. So I finally end up finishing the story, and this goes into Apocalypse Rising. Mr. Sinister kills a whole bunch of Morlocks, and then, Apocalypse wakes up. So it's very cool, man. The next art after this is very cool. I had to get that. But without rambling, let's look at the back of the book, okay? And here's a cool look at the back of the book. Nothing special. Wolverine versus a Sentinel. But yeah, very cool, man. This is one of my favorite Punisher stories, hands down. And I've been reading Punisher since he first, had his own solo series. But this right here is my favorite because this is Punisher versus the Sentry. And the Punisher actually gets PEM particles where he can downsize like Ant-Man and stuff like that. And the Hood and Norman Osborn got so mad at the Punisher that they actually resurrected a whole bunch of villains that he killed. So without further ado, I do want to show you that in this book because it's very cool. Okay, so the Hood goes into this, satanic kind of area where you see all these caskets, and he starts casting these spells, and you see the human souls actually dissipate, and he's floating. You see him smile, and then watch this. This is why I love this book so much. Is because when Punisher was the scourge of the underworld, he killed all these villains, and the Hood resurrected him. So I thought it blew me away when I saw this. Very, very good climactic ending. And here's a cool look at the back of the book. This Punisher book that they actually put on the back of the book. The variant cover is the Punisher shooting Norman Osborn in the gut like that instead of the Hood. So I really do like Parker Robbins, man, and I really do like the Punisher. And like I said, when the Punisher tried to shoot Norman Osborn in the beginning of this book, the Sentry heard the gunshot and like plucked the bullet right in front of Norman Osborn's face, and then he went after the Punisher. So very cool. Speaking of Norman Osborn, this is a very good X-Men book. This is Dark X-Men. This is around the time when Norman Osborn took over. You know, hence that Avengers initiative. That's when Norman Osborn took over. But anyway, he put together his own Dark Avengers, and the front cover is drawn by Simon Bianchi. Simon Bianchi is one of my favorite, favorite artists. And the cool thing about the end of this book is they actually go inside Norman Osborn's mind, and that's when you see the Green Goblin actually has his own like little area inside of Norman Osborn's mind. I did not know that the Green Goblin was that crazy. But yeah, man, he's super crazy. But yeah, if you like X-Men and you like different type of X-Men story, like Age of X and stuff like that, definitely pick this Dark Avengers up. Dark X-Men up. And I think it's still cheap. So here's a cool look at the front. And here's a cool look at the back with Nathan Gray. That's who they end up actually fighting in this book. Cable from Age of Apocalypse. The cool thing about Nate Gray was he went inside his own mind and he was fighting the heroes on the astral plane, and so he escaped from the heroes and went inside his own mind. And Ares, the god of war, actually followed him into his own mind. Ares said, "There's nowhere that the god of war cannot go," which is cool. Until Century ripped him in half. Oh yeah, Injustice, Gods Among Us, Part One. This is a gift from Comic Book Wendell. We already know what the Joker did. The Joker actually ended up making Superman think that Lois Lane was Doomsday, and Lois Lane was pregnant, and Superman killed Lois Lane. And then the Joker actually ended up bombing Metropolis. So very cool beginning. So here's a cool look at the front. Here's a cool look at the back. And they always make Superman in the future be a dictator or something like that. So cool. So I end up buying Pandora's Box, and that was under the Justice League, and it was very cool. Then the Crime Syndicate actually ended up coming through Pandora's Box, so I had to pick up Forever Evil. Man, if you do not have this in your collection, you are missing out on one of the best DC stories of all time. I mean, I never even knew about the Crime Syndicate until this book, and the Crime Syndicate is so cool. The Crime Syndicate is a reverse group of the Justice League. You have Superwoman, you have Johnny Quick, you have Ultraman, who is supposed to be Superman, you have Owlman, who's supposed to be Batman, you have what's the Power Ring, who's supposed to be the Green Lantern. Man, it was just such a cool book, man. I don't want to talk too much about this book because I don't want to give it away, but this is one of the better DC stories I've read in a long time. So here's a cool look at the front. And here's a cool look at the back of the book. And I always say that Ultraman tripped me out because he actually took kryptonite, grounded it up, and snorted it. And that's how he gets more powerful, which is a trip. So, yeah, David Finch, too. So, I know I showed this book on another video, but this is one of my favorite Deadpool books. And what more can I say about Wade Wilson's War, man? It's just so cool. You end up seeing his background with Domino, with Bullseye, and with Silver Sable. And it's just a very cool book, man. You don't know what's going on. In the end, Deadpool leaves it up to you to believe if this story is true or not. But, man, I have nothing bad to say about it. And it's not so wacky of a Deadpool story where people that are not Deadpool fans would be like, I don't like it. It's actually a good story. It's not so wacky where you're like, damn, said Deadpool's too wacky for me. So here's a cool look at the front of the book. Here's a very cool look at the back of the book. And the funny thing was, I bought this book for about, I think, like around $15 because what happened was I went on Amazon the night before I got paid, saw it was $5. I said, okay, I'm gonna lock it in because I just want to read some Deadpool's. You know what I'm saying? When I woke up the next morning to go and purchase it, somebody had bought the $5 book. I was like, you son of a bitch. Excuse the cursing. But I ended up getting it for like 15, which is $10 more. But hey, this book goes for a lot online. This is a very sought after Deadpool book. So yeah, I had to bring you one more Deadpool book because if any Deadpool book, you say, hey, Fred Hall Direct Edition, what's your favorite Deadpool book? This would be close to what is it? The Merc with the Mouth. If not, I think this one beats the Merc with the Mouth. Only because Deadpool actually goes and tries to join the X-Men in San Francisco, and he's roller skating down the street with some short pink shorts on, and San Francisco has a lot of the gay community, so Deadpool kind of like did a parody off of that. So I thought it was freaking hilarious. And then in this book, Domino is actually scared of chickens. So Domino's up in this like pipe in the air conditioning duct looking for Deadpool, and Deadpool puts a chicken up there, and she like freaks out. So man, this I love this book. So here's a cool look at the front of the book. Here's a cool look at the back of the book. What ended up happening was Deadpool ended up winning a whole bunch of money, and so he was just spending his money on stupid stuff. He actually ran through all the money, and on the way to just sailing out by himself, he was hallucinating. And then he just came up with the idea, hey, I'm just going to join the X-Men. And that's what he did because Deadpool is Deadpool. Very cool. All right, so let's get back serious for a minute. Now, this is my Batman book, Batman R.I.P., where Batman goes at it with the Joker. And yeah, man, this is the book where you end up finding out that Batman has a plan for everything. He even has a plan for when his mind goes bad. He called himself the Batman of Elsinore, some crazy crap. But yeah, even his costume was like purple and like weird looking. Hold on, let me just show you. Yeah, so this is when Batman actually had a backup, Batman in his brain that he could turn into in case if anybody attacks his mind. And so he shut his mind down and this persona came out. So very cool, man. Love Batman R.I.P. Alex Ross cover. What more could you ask for? And here's a cool look at the back of the book. Sorry for the glare. But yeah, man. If you like Batman, this is definitely one to pick up. Because it's awesome from the beginning to the end. No slow parts. All right now. Glad you're back. Well, this is Hulk versus X Force. This is a very cool book. This is what ends up happening is Domino ends up finding out who the Red Hulk is, and because she took a picture of him, and ever since then, he hired the Hulk. Ended up hiring his own group of people, which is the Punisher, Elektra, Deadpool, and I think Bullseye. And they actually end up fighting X Force, which is very cool because the Punisher and the Red Hulk was going to kill Domino, and that's when X Force stepped in and all of them went to fighting. So it's a very good book, man. I think I picked it up for like $3. So that's the Red Hulk crushing Dr. Sampson on the front cover. So here's a look at the front. Here's a cool look at the back. You have Wolverine versus the Hulk. You have Punisher. You have Thundra down there. So, yeah, man. Love this book. This is one of my favorites. So, in the last book I'm going to show you is X-Men Second Coming Revelation. Sorry about the glare, guys and girls. But or girls and guys. This is a David Finch cover. If you're a fan of The Second Coming, then you know in that book, Reverend William Stryker hit magic with some kind of machine that actually sent her into limbo. Colossus was going crazy. He was like, hey, we got to get my sister. Cyclops was like, not right now. We got to get through, all this stuff that's attacking, Asteroid M, their home. So, or Utopia. So, yeah, this book is very cool, man. This is where they actually go in limbo and they actually end up rescuing Ileana. But what ends up happening when they get in limbo, Gambit, because he was Death from Apocalypse, he actually ended up turning back into Death in limbo. He actually ended up corrupting Dazzler, which I thought was pretty cool. So yeah, man, very cool book. If you're a Cannonball fan, he actually led the X-Men team into limbo. And yeah, man, what more can I say? I love this book. So here's a cool look at the front. David Finch. And here's a cool look at the back of it with Magic and Limbo. The cool thing about my hardcovers is they come with every cover that they say is in the book. Like if they say X-Men 1 through 12 is in there, 1 through 12 is in there, and also the variant covers are in there too. So that's the reason why I love hardcovers, because it's a complete story. You get both, like I said, you get both covers, the variant and the regular cover, and you get the whole story. You don't have to worry about, you know, I got number 13, but I missed 14. No, you got 13 through whatever number. So yeah, very cool. So once again, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Direct Edition. Remember, the channel is Fred Hall Direct Edition. And you guys, be safe out there. And remember, show love to the ones that show love to you. The ones that don't show love to you, who cares about them? Keep it moving. And I pray that you guys be successful. And I will catch you guys later. Peace.